Good morning. Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. This is Miss Cece coming to you from her home. And today's subject is going to be a part 2 on a book that is titled 13 Things Mentally Strong Women Do Not Do. The author is a Dr. Amy Morin. And we are on the subject about that they do not blame themselves when something goes wrong. Now, where I left off last time is the following. When an incident goes against your beliefs, you might blame yourself. And we were talking about the U.S. gymnastics doctor, Dr. Nassar, and how he molested these young ladies and violated them sexually. Now, some of the young ladies may have felt that he was a god, so therefore they wouldn't dare say anything about him. And they knew deep down inside in their gut, this man's doing something wrong. I feel uncomfortable. And we're telling our young ladies now, if somebody makes you feel uncomfortable, then you need to come and tell mama. You need to tell somebody. I even told my son that. If somebody touches you where you don't want them to touch you in your private, you need to tell someone immediately. So, my son, my daughter, they all got the same speech from me. Now, if your core belief system is challenged, you will make allotments, you will make explanations to be able to discriminate or to keep your core values intact. So, if someone believes that person is a great person, like Nassar, they thought he was a god, okay? Yet, that person violates you in some way, you might reconcile that discrepancy by concluding you must have done something wrong. And that's where we left off. These young ladies in the U.S. Gymnastics program, before they start coming out and saying that Mr. Nassar was doing this to them, they thought it was something that they were supposed to withstand. And their core values may have been their mom or dad will say to them, if somebody touches you somewhere that's inappropriate, you need to speak up. But they didn't, because they thought that this man controlled whether or not they would be able to go further as a U.S. gymnast. So they allowed this doctor to touch them inappropriately and do things to them that were sexual in content. So we're going to go on to say that when I read this chapter, it brought light to something that I have said forever and ever. I've told my daughters, I told my son the exact same thing. Okay? You tell your children you can do anything you set your mind to. Okay? And if you put your heart and soul into it, you can get it. What happens if they fail? That's really where I left off at. What happens if they fail? Do they then become stuck? Yeah, they become stuck. Because they didn't get to have their dream. And everybody's been saying all their lives, well, you need to stick to it and, do your best and you go places. And when they fail, they blame themselves. And because of what I read, I checked myself. I'm putting myself in check. I shouldn't be telling people that. If you want anything in life, you gotta stick to it. You gotta have your heart and soul into it. No. I've decided myself to say the following. I will support you in anything that you want to do as a career. Or reach out to your loved ones to ask them to support your dreams. Now, supporting your dreams compared to telling you that you can do anything you set your mind to, I think it's totally different. Being supportive of the people that we love is something that is okay. It makes it okay for people to make mistakes, people to not reach that goal and get passed over for it. But you still have that person there that's going to support you no matter what. And that is what I feel now that I've read this portion of this book. So, we go on. When a person, blames themselves for not reaching their goals because they did not put their whole heart and soul into it, and they did not do the things that they set their mind to do. It says self-blame can keep you emotionally, physically, and financially stuck. Financially, physically, and emotionally stuck. Because you're in the same mindset that I was in, that if you want to do something and you set your mind to it, you can achieve it. Yeah, that's really good. I've been told that several times in my life. But then you think about it this way, is that what happens when that person is unable to achieve what they've set their mind to do? Where do they go then? Now, that situation in itself can affect them emotionally, can affect them physically, and can affect them financially. And the person becomes stuck. My whole thing in saying that is this. I would adopt that instead of saying that, if you want anything in your life, you set your mind to it, you touch your mind to your heart to it, then you can achieve it. Not to use that anymore. That's everybody says that. I'm not saying that everybody. Some people say that, okay? Alright? And I'm one of the people that did. To make it like this. To say, I'm going to support you in whatever you do. Okay? Now you could put a caveat to that. I will support you in anything that you do for your profession or what you want to be. There. Now, that person doesn't feel bad if they don't hit the mark or they don't get picked or they get a bad grade. They know that you're going to be there for them regardless. You can set boundaries as to what you will support. but the thought of you supporting them and saying, it's okay if you mess up. Come on, we're going to try again. I'm supporting you. Come on, let's go. I think that's a whole lot better, and it speaks volumes upon volumes. So the next thing is how the blame game, self-blame, can take a hold of your psychological being. The doctor says ineffective caregiving and an incompetent business owner. Oh, she's talking about this lady that decided that she was going to quit her job because she had elderly parents and she wanted to take care of them. And in order for her to do that, she stepped down from her job, quit her job, and decided she was going to open up a business of her own from her home so that she could take care of her elderly parents. So what happened is this. One day, the father fell, okay? And the mother tried to help him get up, and she hurt herself and she was on the floor. She crawled to the phone to call 911. Now, her parents are in the emergency room and the doctor is talking to her, and they even call a social worker to come out to talk to the daughter about assisted living facilities and how it may be better that she placed them in a assisted living place, because to her now her business is not going well. Oh, I failed at that. And Lord knows, my mom and my dad, I love my mother and my father. I do, and I quit my job so I could be here for them. I'm not doing what I said I was going to do. You self-blame yourself. You know, ladies, sometimes we have all these irons in the fire, and we go here, we go there, we worry about this, we do this, that, and all these turns and jumping up, down, you know, and we fail to actually examine what we are doing with our lives. I mean, if you are overtasked, that means you got too much stuff going on and you're not taking care of yourself. You cannot take care of anybody else, and you done heard this before, if you don't take care of yourself. And basically, that's what that paragraph was about, and talking about the daughter. She was not taking care of herself. She couldn't be there for her mom and dad. Her business was going down the drain that she had started. And she just felt like everything was coming to an end for her. She had so much self-blame. And so much, it's like, oh, I didn't take care of my mom, my dad. Now I have to put them in assisted living. What if we run out of money and my parents are in assisted living? What am I going to do? Boy, that's a lot of blame. That's a lot of responsibility to put on one person. Sometimes you have to pick which thing, or pick your battles. Maybe I'll say it that way. Pick your battles that you're going to go through. So, self-blame can cause the following things. They can cause a person to be shame of their behavior, shame that they didn't do something, shame that they did allow something to happen, but it was against their core beliefs. Self-disgust. When you're disgusted with yourself and you look at yourself and you say, oh, I'm never going to lose this weight. I just look so awful. I'm just self-disgusted with my body. I go to the gym 3 times a week and I exercise for 2 hours and I still can't lose the weight. I'm so self-disgusted with myself. Sometimes things are beyond our control and you don't get everything you want. It doesn't mean you stop exercising with that example, okay? Doesn't mean that you stop exercising. It just means take the self-disgust and judgment out of it. The next one is that self-loathing. If you are self-loathing yourself, self-loathing self, you feel self-loathing, okay? You think that you are beneath everybody else, that you are the lowest thing in this whole world. You're nothing but dirt. You're the spit that comes out of a person's mouth when they're just throwing you to the side. I don't know if any of you have ever had those feelings. Those are only 3 of them. We got 2 more. The next one is going to be eating disorders. Well, I feel this way. I feel it's my fault. And how I deal with this feeling of self-doubt is that I eat. I sit down, I eat ice cream, I eat, and I gain weight, and my heart is not good, my health is not good because I'm eating. Or if you're not eating to consume it, you're eating and you're vomiting it up. Yeah, I did say vomiting. Or should I say purged? You purge it up because you are bulimic. And this is a eating disorder. And it's also a way that women deal with that self-blaming thing. And lastly, a person may have a post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I'm quite sure you all have heard of PTSD because we've had a number of soldiers come back from over in the sandbox in Afghanistan that have done so many tours and came back home, and they may have eaten their guns, committed suicide, or they have changed so much that they don't carry on their lives that they had before they left to Afghanistan. Something's changed in them. And the wives and families see it. So, without being a self-blame about having PTSD, you blame yourself for all the women and children that die due to bombing. And you're seeing people die and laying on the road. And your values, your core values as a person, not so much a soldier or an airman, but as a person, is tested. Yes, it's tested. And you try to make yourself believe that, oh, okay, it's because of this and it's because of that, and try to pass it on. But what happens is that you compartmentalize it and it comes out. Let me tell you, anything that you try to put down and bury it down under the dirt of something that's traumatic in your life that has occurred, be it abuse, or be it, you're a military person and you're in a war zone and you see so much stuff. and you decide, oh, I'm just going to put it in there. I'm not going to deal with it. It's going to come back. You don't get a chance to just put it down and bury it down and it stay down forever. No, it shows up. And sometimes it can show up in the worst time, in the worst place, and in the worst way. So, post-traumatic stress disorder is not only for a battlefield, a veteran. It can occur in a person that was sexually abused as a child, and that person can be diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. So, self-blame also creates your empathy for others. It decreases your empathy for others. So you don't feel sympathetic. If you're self-blaming yourself and you've kind of made excuses for this stuff to go on, and you feel, well, maybe that person broke a rule, so I'm not supposed to feel anything. So when you're placed, say for example, you come back home from Afghanistan. You come back home and the wife realizes that something's wrong. The man that I married, the man that cared about so much stuff like, children's events and stuff, he's not interested in that anymore. And that's because when you have self-blame for anything, saying it's your fault, it decreases your ability to have empathy, to associate, to be present. And the last thing I'm going to talk to you all about will be in my next session. I'm going to stop here. I want to tell you, I said, thank you so much for letting me talk to you today. I hope I was able to help somebody. That's my goal. Just help someone. So, like I always say, kiss the ones you love and let them know you love them. If you have children, hug and squeeze them tight and let them know how important they are to you and that you love them. Because we are not promised tomorrow. So make your memories today. Make those precious memories. Make your memories today. So that when you're gone, your legacy will live on in those memories. Hey guys, I love you to death. I hope I was able to help someone, and I look forward to talking to you again about this subject in the third series. I've got to go. Peace out, people.